Welcome back to MSI 2019. I will have to announce here we're in some uncharted territory, and our resolution at the moment for the issues in Champ Select are that the teams will be conducting an off-air draft under the purview of league officials. And so while that's happening, we're going to have the opportunity to talk a little bit more about this matchup, as if we haven't exhausted everything already. And then when we get the go-ahead that the teams are ready to head into the game itself, we'll be able to throw it back to the casters to get into it. So I think one thing that we actually can discuss around this whole situation is the uncharted territory element of it. And that, in all cases, when you're playing in a high-pressure matchup, and for both of these teams, these are two of the top dogs in this tournament coming in due to pre-tournament expectations. They're staring down the barrel of a possible finals opponent right now. You want to start these matchups off on the right foot. Well, now there's been building tension for a number of minutes. There has been, for example, Caps stewing in those probably same thoughts that he was just, espousing there in that video. And now it's about, how can you combat those rising emotions and tensions? Of course, a lot of these guys have played in the high-stakes games out there.
And even on top of that, of course, it being an offline draft, you're not in the client, you're not seeing the list of champions. Something easily can go wrong of you just forgetting. Simply that's it. So a lot of that, you got to have, just looking at their faces, they already seem pretty happy, unperturbed by all of it.
Yeah, knowing G2 at least, they're just going to laugh through it. The funny thing in these kind of situations, at least from my own experience, sometimes management and not the players are the ones panicking when these kind of things happen. They're like, wait a minute, everything's not perfect. It's not the way it used to be.
Who do I yell at?
We don't know what's going to happen now. Can we start blaming this if we lose or whatever? While players are just kind of chill and be like, all right, let's just, get through it, and we're going to pick the way we would normally, and then we're going to get into game and we're going to forget about it. And the manager's running around backstage screaming left and right. So I think G2 are going to be more than fine. I assume IG, they also seem like very, very lovely people who's just going to sit there and have some fun.
I had the benefit of, while they were boot camping in Korea, going to visit the G2 gaming house while they were practicing there. And yeah, you're right. They're all jokesters. They're all kind of memeing each other and having a good time. You can see them smiling on your screens right now. That's just the kind of players they are. So they're definitely doing fine. And when it comes to those intangibles, because the intangible for G2 when they played was, the known factor that Mickey hadn't practiced with them very much, that he'd gotten maybe a day or two of scrims maximum in there. What effect was it going to have, that ring rust idea of just not having those stage games for so long, not even scrim games? I was asking some of the players about 9.9 stuff, and Mickey's like, I wish I could play a game on 9.9, but I actually haven't touched it yet because he couldn't play at the time.
Right.
We saw already with their destruction of SKT, no ring rust problems. They come in, practiced, it all works. And I think because it's your world champions and also G2, I think this is all just kind of, for some teams it's an annoyance. For a rookie on this stage, it's like an eternity. But just like when I was, 12 years old or 10 years old, it felt like the school holiday lasted forever. I think if you're a veteran player, like you're just used to it. It's not one of those scenarios. It's just another day at the office.
I just wonder why you were asking about patch 9.9.
Because Trundle's good on 9.9.
I was
surprised to see it on 9.8.
He's good on 9.8.
I was surprised, but he's really good on 9.9. And because they're playing Korean solo queue, so
So you want it for your own little solo queue?
Someone's got to get up.
Because I heard you dropped all the way down to gold.
No, I'm in Wood still. I'm still stuck in Wood 5, but I'm aspiring to as high as possible.
Must be nice to be in the region that all the teams come boot camp in before the big international tournament.
Hey, they messaged me is all I'm going to say.
Oh, no.
They want to see their papa, and I was like, sure.
No shade being thrown. I'm just saying it genuinely must be nice to kind of have the level of access in that sense. And of course, that, it is justified in that, Korea being kind of the mecca of esports, that is where, and long-standing, where the legacy of League of Legends top dogs has stemmed from, that's where people would go. But again, as we sit here, we stare at the LPL, the top Chinese team in the world, top team in the world,
and the
I should
golden
say, full
trophy.
stop. And the golden trophy that they're both
FLICKR was
fighting
going to
for.
grab it earlier. When he
almost
walked
looked like
past
it.
it, he wasn't clear. He wasn't
Wake up!
After that win, he's like, this is mine now, right? After I win, I get the trophy.
Hey, only a few more and he'll get there. Don't worry about it.
But see, this is the thing. There is a fatigue element. There's an aspect of staying at the top of your game and keeping yourself alert and kind of open to everything that might be taking place 5 minutes from now, 20 minutes from now, whenever the game starts.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like gauntlet events in the LPL where you really just find yourself with like ultra lag coming through. Like there's a lot of delays, pauses. I've been in that pits. Apparently, we're getting some pits right now. But like, you do have to get used to it. You have to be put in that situation and really just like not be stewing on it. So you're gonna have to see what we get out of both these guys, and I think we do have like a wealth of veteranship between both these teams that they can come into it clean.
What's our impression of how things are going here after the first day of MSI groups?
Well, Papa Smith and I, we talked about how we were scared after the first 2 games that everything went as we expected.
It was very standard.
At least on our side over here.
Oh my God, I don't want to hear it.
Obviously, Raz with the SKT thing, no one knows why.
Boost it.
But
Oh, I thought you would vote with me.
Sorry. No love from Papa.
All right.
no love from him, no. But like also the TL game versus Flash was like, I had this hope that Flash would come in and kind of surprise me a little bit in the way they would approach the game and not just try and play a weaker version of standard League of Legends compared to like SKT and TL. Sadly, they did exactly that, and they just lost both games, and it wasn't even
So how do you
close.
reconcile game number 3 then, when IG and PvB just played team deathmatch?
It obviously confirmed what
the
Raz
best game of the
said,
day.
Oh, no.
that IG love to go down to the level of their opponent and just say, you know what, if you want to play like this, we want to play like that too.
Could be the thing that bites them at some point in this tournament. But I think the conversation around Flash Wolves is interesting because, as has been mentioned throughout the broadcast so far, I think community sentiment around Team Liquid and Flash Wolves coming out of those best of 5s was pretty all over the place. But a number of people looking at that 3-0 out of Team Liquid and almost condemning them for it. Yeah. Whereas there was the 3-1 on the side of Flash Wolves, and people started to talk them up like, oh, this is the team that would challenge for that 4th slot. And maybe we're finding that's not the case.
And it's the eye test, because the eye test, if you're following based on kind of the parameters of what a clean game in history, and I'm thinking like 2017 and back, was the SKT victories, you know, the slow games where their control wards, their vision creep, where you would look at the champion matchups and you were like, oh, eventually at 40 minutes this works out, whereas these games are kind of done and dusted around 26 nowadays. That's, I think if you're trying to judge it based on that, you see the TL games and you're like, oh, like, you know, they're fighting fights they shouldn't be fighting, they're playing a very fast-paced game. This is something I should be concerned about. But when it comes to kind of Flash Wolves coming in and looking for a way to play the game, looking for a meta and reaching for kind of an excellence, we now know definitively from last year, and I think from what we've seen in 2019, that if you're aspiring to something in kind of a comical fashion, it is IG to aspire to. They're the world champions, they're the aggressive team, they play the fast meta, and I think reaching towards a faster meta, going from, I think they had 0.6 champion kills per minute, i.e. in a normal TL versus X game in the LCS, every minute, one team averaged 0.6 kills, i.e. between the two, there was only 0.6 of a kill, so less than a kill between teams a minute, compared to an IG game where someone is dying every minute. You know, we saw way more than that.
Or more.
In the game we had there, it was like 1.4, but they average 1. You actually want to aspire towards that more action. And that's why when I saw TL going from slow to let's take more fights, because in NA we won without having to take the sort of fights that are necessary to win in LPL and some other regions, I saw it as a benefit to them. I saw it as a thumbs up moment, because I'm like, all right, they understand if they come in playing ultra slow, it isn't going to work, and they're trying to reach towards something better. Whereas the Flash was coming and just playing slow, I don't think that gets you very far.
I do want to jump in real quick just to give an update. We have officials who are perhaps narrowing in on a bit of a fix. That will take a few more minutes, so we're going to give them that time. We can return to our conversation. Just want to keep you up to date.
Okay, and I want to focus on Rather in particular, because I think coming into this tournament, if I was impressed with anybody on Flash Wolves, it was going to be Rather. I thought Rather was certainly an upgrade to Maple in terms of just raw mechanics and the experience that he would be bringing in from Griffin. Of course, just understanding the team structure. I thought coming into this event was really flat. It was unfortunate because the Rumble one caught me off guard. Like that one
Got everyone off guard.
I was like, I didn't expect that. I was like, Corki, Orianna perhaps. They have very slow-paced games, which is why we thought that Team Liquid matchup would be really interesting. But for Flash Wolves to come in, like rallying around their top side and really not being able to accomplish much, like action was not being started, and oftentimes it was Boogie coming in, and obviously it was like just dying at a point. I thought their team fights would at least be focused and make some sense. I think that was their strength in the LMS at times, where they were simply setting up for those fights on Dragons and Rift Heralds. This time around, it didn't come in anywhere near it. So perhaps Nerves sends a little bit of it, but certainly lack of experience for some of the new members as well.
But it was the late mail, though. Like, the thing is, the Flash Wolves were not winning their 7th domestic split in a row, playing dominantly, finishing first overall in the regular season. Like, they got together in the playoffs. We saw Hanabi performing in the playoffs, and you try to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, this is the recent data point. They're the overall winners. They can just recreate that. They don't necessarily have the fallback of Maple plus Sword Art plus Karsa, or Maple plus Sword Art as it was last year. The fallback is, they went through a lot more ordinary, lean times. And we actually kind of have a dichotomy at this tournament because we have teams who've kind of been set in their ways for a while now. We think TL, for sure, has looked pretty much the same level of team from the start of the spring split onwards. We had the 3 dominant teams to start this, but it felt like everyone knew TL would be at this tournament, G2 would be at this tournament, and Griffin for a long time would be at this tournament. They're really strong trendsetters, and one of them did eventually fall off in Griffin. But the rest of the teams here, I think there's kind of 4 teams here who kind of know their style. I'll include PvB there. I think PvB play their style. SKT, I called the chameleon at the start of today's broadcast. They've taken a bit more time. They've tried a few different things, and they've beta tested through a few. Flash Wolves, I think, unfortunately, based on day 1 only, again, it's a small sample size, it does feel like without the benefit of that extended bench of kind of success, those team fights that you're talking about, Raz, they felt more like a backs against the wall team, like kind of scratching for relevance rather than a team just defaulting to things that worked before.
But it's kind of sad and also unfair to just criticize Flash Wolves because they're the only team coming into the tournament losing their star players this year. The other teams either kept the star players or upgraded.
Or added. Yeah.
Like Caps and Mickey on G2. You have Jensen and Core JJ coming in Team Liquid.
SKT,
you have
Faker
SKT,
plus X.
of course, building a completely new lineup. Flash Wolves, they lost Maple Sword Art.
Yes.
And Mujin as well. And then we look at the lineup now and say, oh, why are you not doing as well as you used to? So they're actually the only team entering with a weaker set of players. And that makes it even harder to then come in and satisfy our, desire to see Flash Wolves actually compete at MSI.
A bit of a backfill situation for them, and definitely having to kind of work up to fill those shoes. Just one more update. We do believe we have found a fix. We are running through checklists right now with each of the players.
We're going to go into
so that
ARAM
we could get the entire tournament is switching to ARAM. No, so at that point we could return to a normal draft. So again, just a few checklists to go through with each of the players. Once we get the okays there, we can then send them back into Champion Select. So let's maybe now re-narrow our focus back on IGG2 because we have been divorced from this game for quite some time. So just as a reminder to some people where we were at in the draft, we had the Akali first pick for IG, the J4 and the Tom Kench on the side of G2, the Rakan coming in for IG as well, and the expected Xayah pick. It was the Varus before we popped right out of it, but tons of flex bans across the top, and the Akali still sneaks through. I think the major thing that we were looking at here was G2's Tom Kench being a slightly peculiar pick in lieu of an engage or aggressive pick for the support. And for the side of IG, there's some excitement around what this Rakan and Xayah might do for them.
And maybe a last fun final question is, what do all 3 analysts see as G2's last pick in the first round? Because that's going to be the first round gone, and then the bans can begin again. I look at this draft and just trying to reconcile. The Varus is the obvious one here, just to go like for like, but you don't have to take your AD carry first round. So I'm trying to think about some extra ways to go, because it seems like G2's banning junglers in the second round here, given that they...
Most likely, yeah.
There's no first round jungle coming in, so...
Well, this is perfect. I'm getting the word that we have 1 minute to champ select, so it's like you're on the actual clock, and you got to make a pick in 1 minute or less.
I think, again, Varus just for domination around bottom side.
Yes.
But the thing about Tom Kench is he does also unlock certain mages to be played, like mages without escapes, where if you pick it without Tom Kench, enemy jungler shows up level 3 and you just die. There is some mages like, maybe so Tom Kench is not the greatest, but could be like, Cassiopeia as well.
To say, yeah,
and there are something we know Perks can play. And there is a few different, I'm sure he has a couple of pocket picks ready. That other players are not expecting. He played Nico in the final against us as well, which we did not expect to face. And it was super annoying to deal with in the laning phase. And he built it just AP.
I would love to see a Cassiopeia if it goes topside, mid lane. I have confidence in Wonder picking it up as well.
All right, well, with that, I've received word that the players are heading back into Champion Select. So we're going to throw it right over to Captain Flowers, Kobe, and Frostgrid for the call.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's been a nice little break, and if you're in NA, you're welcome for delaying the game for a wonderful time for y'all to wake up and enjoy the show. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, one and all. Welcome to what is probably the most anticipated match of the day here in Invictus Gaming versus G2 Esports. Both teams off to a 1-0 start, but only one gets to end the day undefeated.
And we have talked it up and down, backwards and sideways all day, but here we go. Finally, I hope you got your popcorn ready and you are buckled in. So to catch everyone up, Invictus Gaming, they banned away all the crazy things. They don't want the Pug, they don't want the Tarek. Meanwhile, G2 are like, take away all the flex picks, but that does leave one available.
The Akali is picked. Remember, the 5 choices that we already saw earlier, Akali, Rakan, Xayah for the side of Invictus Gaming, G2 grabbing themselves the Jarvan and the Tahm Kench, those are all still locked in from the previous champion selects, and once it gets to Caps' turn, that's when we're going to see things move forward.
And as Frostgorn was talking about last time when they locked in the Tahm Kench, this does give more confidence to us that you're going to get one of those carry-carry matchups. Tahm Kench can really lend himself to a wide map and traverse a very long area.
All right, IG, there's the Xayah. That one was accidentally misinterpreted as a Varus last time due to some difficulties, but now they got the right champs in there. The Lovers duo in the bottom lane. We've seen these champions pop off before. Unfortunately for Xayah and Rakan, only Rakan has an IG World Championship skin. Poor Xayah.
Oh!
Therefore, G2 will lock in the Nico.
You missed one. You missed one of the crazy picks. I've heard so many rumors about the Nico. We very rarely got to see it crop up in the LEC, but I'm unsure what position it will be played in, because classic G2, it can go either way.
Exactly. Either 3 ways there, because Perks could easily play it in the bottom lane, even as AP or on hit. So definitely a very versatile champion here. Nico primarily, though, we've seen it so much as a split pusher. The on-hit build still is good. They nerfed it, then they buffed it back to a fairly reasonable level.
All right, let's see what we get banned away in the second part of the bans here. Kinnan will be removed by the side of G2. Gangplank taken off the table there by IG, still heavily focusing towards these solo lanes.
And it feels like it's a good read that is going to be a mid lane Akali if you're trying to pinch that top lane pool. I'm really curious what the last 2 picks are going to be for G2, just because the pool is so tiny. Aurelia still available. Oh, excuse me, never mind. I was like, maybe I'm reaching for the Aurelia. That was banned way years ago.
Get your hand out of that flex pick bag. It has been taken care of.
There's nothing left. What do you got?
Oh, no more Syndra either. Not very flexible, that one. Definitely targeted at Rookie. Not going to be an answer here.
Rookie, we did see him playing the Syndra earlier in their bloodbath of a game against Fongvu Buffalo. Was able to put out quite a lot of damage on that pick. Has been historically successful with it. Not too surprised to see that one banned away. One more ban coming in from IG, and they will get rid of that LeBlanc. When we were talking earlier during the delay, you said that's a champion you like to see into an Akali because it can deal with the Shroud so well, still manage to do the damage and figure out where she's hiding in there, but IG will not allow G2 to pick that one.
And what I'm looking at, if I'm Invictus Gaming and looking at these first 3 picks from G2, is that they do want to go with the split push and spread type of style here. Hovering a Vladimir, though, already for G2, and they're going to lock that one in.
And it kind of fits right into that wheelhouse. With Vladimir, I feel like you get everything you want. You can look for the 5v5, you can look for the hyper-scaling into a side lane, you can play 1-4, 1-3-1, and it flexes, so perfect.
Vladimir, it team fights, it split pushes, it late games. The only thing you're missing there from the selling point of a champion would be a little bit of scaling in the early game.
Right.
So that might be an area where IG could actually up the tempo.
There's also not a lot of easy CC. You basically have Jarvan that can help set up the Nico, but there's not something like a Sejuani or like a Flash Rise or something like that. So I'll keep my eyes on how this Vladimir actually gets into those team fights if we're able to burn the Jarvan ultimate and that doesn't be the big trigger for the hard engage.
And with Zoe and Lee Sin being the last picks locked in for the side of IG here, there's not anybody on the Invictus Gaming side that really screams tanky to me. If this Vlad gets ahead and is able to run into the middle of everyone with Hemoplague and Tides of Blood, the AoE damage is going to be massive, and there is not enough smoke for Akali to hide in from that amount of burst. One more pick for G2. What's it going to be? Looks like the name of the game could be the Vayne locked in.
And we needed the final cherry on top to top off this G2 draft. Again, the question is, where does the Vayne go?
Yeah, pretty much everything on G2 could be swapped around to different places. It'll be up to them to decide how all these want to be swapped around. The only thing I'm certain of is that Tahm Kench will be supported.
Yeah, I mean, Vayne very well could be flexed up into the top lane for the Akali matchup. Until proven otherwise, though, I'm going to guess that it is going to go to Perks, and there's one more or two more role swaps here, or champion swaps, to get the Jarvan onto Jankos, and then the Nico Vayne swap as well.
Everyone hold hands.
Yeah, exactly. But let's jump into the game here as we get onto Summoner's Rift. We'll finally find out where G2 are going to place their champions.
But on the other side, it's a very standard draft coming out of Invictus Gaming. You have rookie Zoe, you have the Shy playing the Akali, so there's a lot of bridging points. They can play around the early game with the Lee Sin. They have a really strong mid-game power spike and a wealth of options to attack in each lane.
And remember, both these teams, the last time we got to see them play was in the World's semifinals last year. It was G2 who had to defeat RNG to earn that spot, and then found themselves destroyed by Invictus Gaming 3-0. Not a single one of those games even taking 30 minutes for IG to blow up the Nexus, but this G2 roster is revamped, restarted, and ready to prove themselves here at MSI.
Unfortunately, the only silver lining is they didn't get beat as quickly as Fnatic did, so G2 got to take that one back home. But ultimately, it's about revenge. It's about making your statement, and it's about proving that the changes that you made, as Caps was saying, you leveled up, you got stronger. So now they look towards Invictus Gaming, running the same roster. Did you also match us?
And G2, you want to talk about making changes and getting better. They took SKT down in style earlier today. They're not coming in here looking like a team that people are saying, oh yeah, you're top 3, but you're definitely number 3. They mollywopped SKT, and if they can come in here and do it to IG, they're putting themselves in a real good spot to say, hey, we're a contender for the whole thing.
Making a statement early is such a big deal in a tournament like this. This is a tournament of champions. Everyone is a winner that is here at MSI. So if you are able to take down SK Telecom and IG back-to-back games on the first day, everyone will fear you, and you will be able to also get whatever scrims that you want for the remainder of the duration of that tournament.
I mean, there's a really good chance that the West ends today 4-0. Team Liquid and G2 just high-fiving each other. T.O.'s like, it was all me, man. Like, good run, but I got you covered.
Season 9 could be the moment that Western fans have been waiting for, but we'll have to wait and see. Quick update. The picks are all valid. We have completed a champion select. These 10 champions are going to be the ones you're seeing on Summoner's Rift, but Wonder apparently had a difficulty loading into the game. They're hoping to get him reconnected here within about the next 2 minutes or so. If anything changes there, I will give you all an update. But as we're loading in, we've seen both compositions so far. Tell me, where do you both expect to see the junglers and the teams at large put their attention early on in this game?
Honestly, the Nico into Zoe lane is always something that I have my eyes on. Nico has a very useful route, and Zoe does not have any inherent escapes, especially early on. So Jarvan, perfect champion for going red buff level 2, instant gank towards min, try and burn at least a summoner or something, and you can really try and put the pressure on one of the star players. Everybody is looking at rookie versus Caps, and how will this go? And all the information we always get about Caps, he's a 10-0 or 0-10 player in scrims. You want him to be on the 10-0 side.
And I'm also super interested to see how they'll use the Nico. Deficio was talking about on the desk. G2 are an incredibly creative team. Second for second in the game, they're figuring out how to Rubik's Cube you. They're problem solving. They're trying to find these opportunities or create things that most teams don't see. And with Nico and the camouflage, you can create some wacky situations. And if any team's going to abuse that type of creativity, it's G2.
And G2 is also a team of veterans. Every single player on this roster has been around for at least 6 splits of play in the EULCS/LEC titles, whatever. It's always the same league of competition, but they've also attended playoffs so many times. We're not talking about guys here who have been around, but they've mostly been on teams that just were at the bottom of the table. They couldn't really make it. All of them have competed in playoffs so many times. They've competed in professional play for so long. I'm not surprised that this roster of 5 guys is the one that we're seeing say, all right, we've all got this wealth of experience, this wealth of knowledge. Let's play League of Legends in a new kind of way that makes everybody go, wait, what the hell?
It kind of feels like the revamp that Moscow 5 brought to European League of Legends so far ago. When you throw your mind back, they just completely changed the way that Europe looked at the game. And G2 is kind of that next twist on the game. No one plays like them in the LEC. We call them baby Invictus Gaming, but if G2 take down IG, I think it's time to take that mantle back.
And a lot of people kind of give them that baby IG name because of the power of the solo laners, but I really enjoy the fact that G2, not only did they steal away one of the other best players in the entire league in Caps, but now they have this extra wrinkle where they have a mid lane mage player in the bottom lane as well. So there are just so many different iterations, and not any other team can really follow in their footsteps that quickly because so many of the bottom lane players have always trained on AD carry marksman type.
And it just makes us continuously ask these questions. Where is the Vayne going? Where is the Nico going? It can be swapped at any time. Now, it is Perks piloting that Vayne down there. And what's cool about this composition is that because you have a Vayne as your ADC, you're still able to play the side lanes in a 1-3-1 formation because of her dueling potential. And then you don't have to sacrifice having a CC utility-esque mage like a Nico in the mid lane.
Exactly, and that's one of the reasons why Tom Kench was also locked in so early. These, by the way, the champion order, this is the pick order, not the people who have
That's not Tom Kench jungle.
That's not TK jungle with Vayne support. Sorry for all you faceless house subscribers out there.
That's me.
You picked the wrong one. Purple or die. Warband forever. That's the best one.
Yeah,
That's the 1v9 strat.
I'm over on the council.
You're over on, oh, you're one of those big brain players, huh? Out there calling shots and I don't know. I feel like that's the guy in solo queue spends more time typing paragraphs than he does playing the game.
You've watched me play solo queue, so you know what happens.
Yeah, I watched you tell your team, I'll check my bank account. You're welcome for carry.
Don't flame me like that.
I'm saying you did carry. I am complimenting how well you were able to drag that Teemo across the finish line, Frost. But we are about to hopefully get back in the game here soon. Players are re-entering Champ Select, remaking the lobby. Hopefully we can get everybody on to Summoner's Rift and finally bring you all IG versus G2. Earlier today, we saw what was not expected from either one of these teams in that G2 smashed SKT like we already brought up, but IG actually had a slugfest with Fongvu Buffalo. If you looked at the 6 games being played today and said, all right, find me the game that is most likely to be one-sided, most people would point at that one and say, yeah, IG favorites for the tournament, Fongvu Buffalo, the only emerging region here. Seems a little bit out of whack to me, but then Fongvu Buffalo just come out swinging. IG are dragged back down to their Fiesta-style roots, and we just get a blow-for-blow contest that, what was it, 17 kills at 12 minutes?
And people should not be surprised by Vietnam having these types of games versus major regions anymore. That we have had many years of them getting so many kills, pushing these, established regions, I guess, to the limit over and over. And for them to do that against the defending world champions, just is such a statement and such a heartfelt and enjoyable game.
It's also the fact that if any team is gonna smile back at you when you decide to go blow for blow, it is going to be someone like Invictus Gaming, and then the next team on that list would actually be G2. I hope that we get a similar, very fast-paced, high-tempo, bloodthirsty type of game here, but maybe it slows down a little bit. Maybe there's a bit more brain, a little less heart that goes into this one, because that was big heart, not a lot of big brain.
And honestly, both these teams' styles do favor that. When you look at the stats behind both these squads from their regional play, it's G2 who has much faster win times than loss times. When they get ahead, they are just brutal with pushing it forward. And for IG, they are first in both kills and deaths combined at 15 minutes and kills per minute in not only the LPL, but among all 13 teams that competed at MSI, including the play-ins. And I specifically mentioned that part about play-ins because a lot of times it's teams from the emerging regions that are bloodier, that are more action-packed, and IG says, oh, no. Y'all sit down. Let me teach you how to play League of Legends.
But I do want teams to kind of capitalize on the blueprint that PvP kind of showcased a little bit of. If you go and check the tape, look back at LPL Domestic, when Invictus Gaming do fall over, it's when you challenge them. This is not a team that has been shown to be beaten if you just kind of slowly scale them out and look for the team fight. You must go toe-to-toe. You must try to challenge them and contest them. Otherwise, they just run away with games.
And a lot of the combined kills per minute stat especially for the first 15 minutes, is determined by the junglers. Jarvan and Lee Sin are both junglers that have a lot of options. They have a lot of mobility early on in the kit, and that is the biggest strength of these champions, that they can choose when to go in, when to go out, and try and gain information, then make the elevated choice.
It also makes the jungle pathing that much more interesting because both these champions can also go over the wall. So try to get around, scout out some early vision, figure out where you're going to path around it, and catch someone off guard.
I mean, we're talking about how the junglers are going to be paramount to those early game stats being what we expect them to be, and how the champions facilitate it, and the players themselves. I mean, we all remember how important Ning was in IG's absolute trouncing of Fnatic during the World Finals just last year. And when you look at the side of G2, Jankos is known as the first blood king in LEC for a reason. The man gets his team on the board. And to see these two go head-to-head, I'm really going to be tracking these guys and seeing who can just get that slight lead, because so often we see plays come down to which jungler was there 1 or 2 seconds sooner.
I think this thread about development for both the junglers, Ning and Jankos, is actually quite interesting. So Ning had the best tournament of his life when he went to the World Final, which, if you're going to pick your moment, that's a damn good moment to pick there.
Yeah.
Deserve that MVP. And since then, he has shored up kind of a lot of his inconsistencies. He's a much... I'm going to say, not as much as a coin flip player.
Okay,
I'm like,
okay.
you have to like pick your moments, because sometimes Ning can just run it down, but he's often very clever when he chooses to do so.
And I really do like that kind of specification right there, because when we were watching and reviewing so many of the Invictus Gaming games that they played throughout this season, some of the plays people can look at a glance and think that it is a coin flip, right? But if you're going in and you're opting into a trade of one for one, you know, if it is a choice of a mid-game Rek'Sai for the enemy AD carry, then that is not a 1-for-1 equal value trade, right? That is definitely trading up on the side of Invictus Gaming. So even if you sacrifice your life jumping into multiple people to do that, I think that's one reason why some people have had kind of a misread on quite a few different players.
And then if you look at the other side on Jankos, his development is he doesn't necessarily always have to be the first blood king. He can still be that carry jungler. He can still have those teeth. But now, as Defici was talking about in the analyst desk, he's really diversified all of the different roles that he can play for G2.
Yeah, he can play the Morgana. Yeah,
Yeah, because
that's a different role.
Best support in the LEC.
That was a very good observation of what is a very different role from what we would normally expect from a jungler. But mentioning the Morgana, mentioning things like the Pike, I mean, G2 has really shown exactly how creative you can be playing League of Legends. And I know a lot of people are still traumatized from what happened last year with the great marksman shakeup and all the 80 carry players swearing off League forever and all the streamers not knowing what's going on and all the professional teams not knowing what's going on. But honestly, it ushered in a whole new era of how people have to think about the game and how they want to play it. If you would have gone back 2 years ago and said, oh yeah, let's see some mages in bottom lane, throw some Nico down there, Talia and Pantheon, people would be wondering what the hell you're talking about. But now, there are so many different ways to play League of Legends. We are on to Summoner's Rift. We are going to see how they do it here today. Finally, at long last, it is Invictus Gaming versus G2.
And we are on to Summoner's Rift. Both sides racing out here to the river to try and get some vision early on. Currently, Wonder is the one with the Vayne. So after all that, and we finally get into the game, it is the top lane Vayne with the press the attack here into the Akali. Now, Vayne as a top lane can be extremely brutal to deal with and often will attract both junglers up to that matchup.
And she is relatively difficult to gank, not just because of the tumble, but with how she uses the condemn. So if people aren't perfect on when they walk up to her, it's super easy for her to be hard oppressive in lane and then walk it out.
Also worth pointing out, Kobe noted the keystone on the Vayne. I also want to point out the glacial augment for perks on the Nico in the bottom side. Expect to see a lot of slows, a lot of utility coming out of this G2 bottom lane.
Back to the Vayne pick, though, as well. Sometimes if you're getting the most out of a top lane Vayne, you have to use your tumble, you have to play super aggressively and position very far forward in the lane. So that's why it often attracts both junglers' attention, trying to keep wards, trying to keep vision, trying to allow, the Vayne side to be able to play aggressive and create that advantage. And then the other side, of course, putting a stop to it, trying to get that early kill or blow summoners.
And I think that's one thing that I observe a lot, at least during the regular season of play in North America, is teams that try to pick these aggressive laners in their solo lane, specifically top side, and then aren't successful with it. A lot of it comes down to the jungler not going up there because they're thinking, oh, my laner should win this. He's a lane bully. He's got range advantage. Easy. But you do have to shadow this like Jankos is doing now to make sure Wonder doesn't get punished for this aggro.
Exactly as we said 10 minutes ago in the first champion select. Darvin, perfect at going red buff level 2 into trying to get some control for this top laner. But on the other side, of course, we already see the wards from G2. They know that this is a very real possibility. They have accounted for it, and the vision is there.
Yeah, excellent vision there from Invictus Gaming, so we'll see what Ning does with the information on the other side. What I love, too, is you already see that Jankos is kind of popping his head up, looking for a possible opportunity on top side, but the fact that you have a Vladimir as well as a Tom Kinch in your mid and bot lane, these champions can absorb so much pressure with the pool, with the gobble, that you can start throwing everything at Wonder and everyone else will be fine on the map.
And talking about that Vladimir in the mid lane, you can see right now Rookie has taken over the early shove here, the priority in the lane. Plenty of creeps to farm up, so Caps is not quite as behind as he appears to be right now. And goes over the wall, but it's going to be Ning waiting for him right there in the brush. Sonic Wave into the Resonating Strike. Conqueror on the Lee Sin and Jarvan both. Mickey X making his rotation over to the fight. Balon will join up with Ning, and IG with control over that mid lane can bring Rookie over there just to make sure they get the blue buff.
And this is really left over from that initial vision spot on Jankos there. Ning able to follow the pathing, the follow forward. Oh, has to flash, doesn't look for, or doesn't want the Devour.
Yeah, he was left there by himself in the lane because Balon moved up to try and help with that blue buff steal. Thought he could be okay because of the giant minion wave that had built up, but that is going to be double summoners blown for Jackie Love. Definitely a target that G2 might want to take advantage of.
Yeah, that's the big thing, though. The fact that Jankos has his blue taken away, but now there's that possible opportunity. I can abuse Jackie Love down here and springboard myself back into this game.
And remember, Xayah's a champion that we think about her for having the ability to escape engages, but that's all about the ultimate. Until he hits that level 6, he's super vulnerable. This might as well be a Varus or an Ashe or something equally engageable for Invictus Gaming here in the bottom side. Equal farm here between both bottom lane players. Can't call them both AD carries because of the status of the Nico there, but Perks will keep on farming up. The only real big CS discrepancy so far this game is there in the top side, where you can see Wonder, having maintained that advantage for a while now, will continue building that lead.
Yeah, he's got the CS lead, but as you can see, the Shy constantly trying to threaten that all-in attempt. Jankos, though, heading back to the top side. Control word is there.
TP coming in from Wonder. Jankos goes further in, able to find one auto attack, looking for even more. One more will do it, and First Blood goes over to G2.
And the First Blood King makes good on his promise. He visits up at the top lane, didn't need the summoner spell, a flash is burned in mid, but so far, G2 first on the board.
Oh man, Rookie is going to get a double wave pushed in with a cannon. He's going to try and find Caps even at the second turret there. He does have a W flash, so maybe he was thinking he was going to be able to do something else. Does get a turret play and deny several minions.
And for Caps, this is sort of feeling reminiscent of what happened to him during that World's semifinal. It was Rookie who beat him during the World's final, back when Caps was on Fnatic, it was Rookie who was able to beat him in lane every single time. And right now, he's off to a similar advantage. Bottom side, Perks and Mickey X getting themselves into a 2v2, but going to be taken low on mana there. The Shy trying to find himself some sort of a play here. Wonder down to one hit. The Shy wanting to make it happen. Goes forward, Jankos doing a good job body blocking that Shuriken, making so they can't do anything else. Ning gonna be tanking the turret aggro here for now. The Shy's gonna be eating the turret shot. Jankos might be able to make it too! Ladies and gentlemen, the First Blood King brings 3 bloods into the top lane just 5 minutes in.
Jankos camping top lane. We talked about both junglers being attracted to that top side. Excuse me. I don't know if you can hear me yelling across to the other mic there.
Cole is so hype.
Jankos gets not number 1, not number 2, but also number 3. This is all 3, not only just the kills, but the credit as well. So big gold stacked up on this Jarvan. Let's take another look at how the Shy gets Wonder low inside, but Jankos comes in, uses the sweeper to try and reveal, does get the initial knock up here, and then it is the Shy and Ning that try and go for the tower dive.
And here's the thing, you think this is disaster for G2. You're like, this is a 2v1 scenario, but Jankos and Wonder play it so well. Wonder being the initial bait here. You know Invictus Gaming are gonna bite, you know they're gonna look for it, and then expertly layered CC, make sure he finds the knock up, and then just sidestep, boop, See ya, Ning.
You can't play that much better if you're Jankos there. G2 has to be happy with how that one played out. That Jarvan now sitting on completed Cinder Hulk, not even 7 minutes in.
Yeah, the Shy and Ning also going to want that one back. Couple of mistakes there, taking the extra tower shots early on, but now it is double level 6s here for the duo on the top side. And guess who's back? It's the Jarvan camp squad.
And I just want to say, good guy, Jankos. 3-0 right now. Goes for the Cinder Hulk, Jarvan. He's a team player.
Let's see here, Caps trying to find himself a little bit of a trade here onto Rookie in the mid lane. Wants to get the Empowered Transfusion, but Rookie's not going to allow him to do so. Able to find the Proto Belt, a little more coming through. Emo Plague drop down onto Rookie, who now has to try to get himself away. It's Jankos coming in, able to find the Cataclysm. Rookie with a flash out. That is his real flash, but he will survive.
Yep, and Jankos going to stick around to help him push out the lane as well. Allow him an extra timing. This is kind of the Invictus Gaming strength right now. It is the Zoe harassment on the Vladimir early on. As we talked about in Champ Select, the Vladimir, the one thing he's not bringing to the table is the early game.
But just takes a level 9, make sure he gets most points into his Q. He'll be able to sustain that lane and should try to fight back a little bit at some of this Zoe poke.
And bottom lane, you can see some poke coming out of the side of G2. Remember, Nico's root lasts forever if she can launch it through the creep wave and then hit you with it as the last target. 3 seconds at maximum duration is an incredible amount of time to be locked down, and they get a very good trade against IG4.
But hold up, we're back up into the top lane. Curious when Ning's gonna go for his play. Doesn't have flash, does have access to the Dragon Rage kick.
Wonder walking forward, doesn't want to go too far out there, just wants to
Honestly,
opportunity for
I would be looking for a counter gank right here and waiting because they know that Jankos is constantly camping, and now that he goes for the ward!
There you go! Ning's gonna find him into the wall there, burst coming through, and Ning will shred Wonder out before Jankos can even make his way into the mix. That is finally Invictus Gaming on the board.
Yep, they see Jankos killing the ward. Once he reveals it and starts auto-attacking it there, they know that they have the distance they can pull off that 2v1. Ning with a very nice kick into the wall. Look at that Dragon Rage. He doesn't go anywhere, allows the Shy to land his skill shot, then finishes off with a very quick ultimate, and that is going to be a little bit of a turnaround for the top side. Unfortunately for the Shy, he actually did not get kill credit though, and it was money over to Ning.
And it can be a repeat gank because now the flash will be back up for Ning, just can wait for that cooldown, and it feels like everything is just a magnifying glass on this top laner, a Kali Vayne. Who is going to win the volatile matchup? Who is going to start popping off?
And this is exactly what I said I wanted to see coming into the matchup between these two teams. Carries in the top lane for both sides, focus onto the top lane from both sides. And so far, it's Wonder who's been, I should say it's G2, who's been coming out on top. But all the kills, remember, did go over to Jankos. It's not Wonder building up that lead for himself. And when you look at his itemization, after that last play, when he got bursted down so quickly, he immediately goes for the completed Hex Drinker, protecting himself in the lane.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, and why you could just see the jungler gold comparison there, because every kill in this game has gone to the junglers so far. And a lot of that money...
My kind of game, Kobe.
A lot of the money is being put into tank stats for Jankos, though. As you pointed out, the Cinder Hulk Frostgurn. Double buffs now, though. He's down to the bottom side with control wards all around this early dragon. He can start up the Ocean Drake and take the early regeneration for G2 to help out with that lane phase.
And it feels like one of the advantages of transferring your gold lead into more tank stats from Jankos is that there's not really a traditional tank in this team. If you look at it, between the superficial health that Tom Kench is going to get with Grey Health and Jankos itemizing tank, there's an actual front line for G2 if this does come down to team fight phase.
And I'd also say the type of tank stat that he's buying is indicative of where he's going to continue to camp. It is magic resist with the null magic mantle and the double AP solo laners.
Now, topside, Ning wants to set up a play here yet again. Wonder is past the days where he can just auto-attack the Shy with impunity. You see that the Shy can easily find some good trades onto him. Ning going for the kick, but not able to find it there. One more auto attack from Wonder would have sealed his fate, but Wonder does a good job getting himself out of the way of that one. Flash from both Invictus Gaming's jungler and G2's top.
Yeah, very good reactions there from Wonder to immediately ult and tumble to get the invisibility. Ning was not close enough to instantly dragon kick after his flash, so it does not go off, and they trade flashes.
Meanwhile, bottom side, Zion Rakan doing what they do best, going in for the 2v2. Damage coming out there from Perks. Gonna make sure that nothing else happens out of that one. Balon chunked pretty low, has to use his flash, and he'll be going home.
And you can see how oppressive Nico can be in the lane phase. It feels like Kench and Perks are just so far up into this lane, constantly throwing those roots, constantly dropping those sapling bombs.
This is what I like to see. You know, you wanted the carry v carry matchup in the top side, Captain Flowers. You don't get much more carry v carry than Akali and Vayne with constant jungler camping.
Jankos again hanging out of. He went to the sporting goods store. He found himself a nice tent, and he's just set that sucker up in top lane the entire time.
You get 1, maybe 2 camps in between visits back to the top lane. He does have the Rift Herald though, and plates are available in both mid and top for him to go for.
Most junglers farm their camps and then gank the lanes between it. He is just deciding to farm the top lane and gank the camps in between that time. We'll see if he can make a play here in the mid lane onto Rookie, but it doesn't look like it. Instead, going to go back towards his own jungle. Keep on farming up. He is a level behind Ning, who has been doing a better job farming. You can see 86 to 72 CS there. Did go for the early Tiamat on the Lee Sin. Now in the mid lane, it's Balon able to find the knock up onto Caps, who's now going to mount himself a bit of a counterattack. Mickey X making his way into the mid lane now as well. Sonic Wave coming in from Ning, who can't quite get himself into the fight just yet. And it looks like both sides are going to walk away.
And this is a classic maneuver. I'll hold the thought, though. Maybe the Shy goes crazy. He's got flash.
This matchup turns so heavily, as you can see. Once the Akali has the level 6, has so much more threat for this all-in, now it becomes, oh no, the Vayne dropping CS, because there's so much. 100% to 0.
Oh, Rookie's in some trouble, trying to get himself away from this Cataclysm. Does still have his flash ready to go, looking to turn something around, maybe. He has backup coming in from the Shy, who makes his way in and finds the assassination into the shutdown onto Jankos. Cap's now in some trouble himself. A lot of damage coming in from the side of IG. Mickey X going to be taken down in the Dragon Pit at the same time into the 2v2. Back into the mid lane is Wonder going to be taken low. Cap's also below half HP. The Shy at 200. The disengage will happen as Perks looks to find something else here onto Balon. Not going to get enough damage to kill.
And suddenly Invictus Gaming bite back right there. Huge shutdown into the pockets of Akali of all things. And this is massive because while you have this Vayne, while she's getting so much attention, so many resources from Jankos, I'll hold it.
Oh, nice pull there. Ning not able to find the Sonic Wave. Just goes for the Dragon's Rage anyway. Not going to get much from that one. The Shy going in, going forward. Sonic Wave doesn't even need the resonating strike. And Wonder will have to walk away as Caps falls into a pool of blood.
They will get down and dirty with you, G2. You must respect Invictus Gaming when they come to skirmish. With this Akali, who's going to win out in a late game? A hyper-fed Akali versus the 80 carry of the Vayne. My bet's on the Akali.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you on that one. Let's take another look at how all the craziness started.
All right, Yanka's going to go in. They're trying to 2v1 at the beginning, but the first teleport is that of Invictus Gaming, and it is the Shy who arrives. Huge burst damage, but we're back out onto the field.
Meanwhile, bottom side, it's Perks nearly killed here. Balon and Jackie Love looking to maybe make something else happen. Rookie making his way down into the fight now. Thick Skin going to be keeping Mickey X alive for a little bit longer, but it's a nice play to frog legs for IG's mid lane.
Invictus Gaming completely controlling the pace of the game now, turning the tides of these fights with the extra members joining and getting those victories in the small skirmishes.
Yeah, and starting to shore up some of the CS disadvantages that they were at. Jackie Love just still slightly behind Perks, but everywhere else on the map, it's feeling very good for IG. Collectively as a team, they are ahead than G2's Jankos.
All right, take another look at how this happened down bottom side. Balin went all in on Perks. They're able to get him down. He flashes away, but as you know, Rookie comes down the river. Mickey X has nowhere else to go, and that's all she wrote.
Rookie trying to find himself a kill there. Perks has been saved multiple times now by Mickey X and the Tom Kench Devour. Of course, that's what you draft the champion for, but Mickey X, just this guy who's always on point for the side of G2.
I want to take a break because we're going to have a little bit of action.
There's no break to take. Jackie Love manages to outplay Caps underneath the turret.
Is that the O10 maneuver there?
That, I believe it has to be. Not what you want to see for the side of G2. Caps falls to 0, 2, and 0 on this Vladimir. Rift Herald going to be summoned up here in the mid lane for G2, looking to knock down this mid lane tier 1 turret. Turret First Blood is still on the table. Getting that would manage to bring G2 back a little bit closer in this game. They are down almost 4K 16 minutes in.
Yeah, that was actually a very low value Rift Herald. There are no more turret plates left available, so it's just a chunk on a tower. And they weren't able to finish off the tower either, so no immediate reward at all. Meanwhile, Invictus Gaming getting that kill on the Caps as well as the Infernal Drake. Here goes
Mickey X going to be hurt up. Here's the counter initiation comes in. Balon looking to lock down 3 different people. Wonder going to be taken very low. Balon nearly falls, but Wonder's going to be taken out next. Mickey X cut to pieces. reverses. It's a double kill over to the Shy, and they're looking to make even more happen now. Jankos might be ahead, but they're looking to cut him down once more. Gets himself away just barely. Cap coming in. Empowered Transfusion won't do a lot. Invictus Gaming pick up 3 for nothing. They got a couple injured health bars, but that's not going to stop them from taking down the Tier 1.
Everything that you thought was in doubt over that PvP game, throw it out the window. This is Invictus Gaming. They will get down and dirty with you, and you must respect them when they have these comfort picks. Bow Lens Recon, time and time again, finding these key engagements.
Everything that is important right now, keeping track of every single member of the enemy team. Here's another rerun of Caps going for the tower dive here. Chronoblast over to the side. I don't believe I ever saw a pool go off.
Died without it.
And he instantly dies on the bottom side there, so Jackie Love happy to get that one, but here's the second replay, the Jarvan initiation into the bow lawn lockup, and now we're back into another!
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it's going to be Jackie Love in some trouble, going to be shut down as Caps gets himself on the board. He'll be taken pretty low. Rookie's going to grab the kill onto him as now Invictus Gaming makes their own counterattack. Ning goes on a rampage, taking down Perch. Mickey X is thrown up into the air, and he'll be taken down again as well. A double kill for Invictus Gaming's jungler. They may have lost their AD carry, but they'll find 3 in return.
And they've got control of the map once again. Bottom turret is extremely low here. The Shy going in on a wonder.
Oh, this is not where this Vayne wants to find herself. The damage comes through. The Hex Drinker won't do a damn thing.
Not versus Sork, Boots, Oblivion, Orb, and the converted...
The Gunblade.
Gunblade.
It's grayed out. It's fine. It's hard to see.
He already used his bullets, it's fine. Taking stock of this game, because it feels like everything else on fire all of the time, and as I say that, we gotta see how the first fire happened.
Honestly, it's been a constant fire the entire game. 3-member dive from G2. They get capped with the big AoE. Perks following it right up there with the Nico, and they got the second root. But Rookie gets the kill onto Caps just barely. Ning healing off of it, and then with Baolon coming in with the shield, he doesn't go down. They finish up the second kill, and they're able to get down.
And it feels like time and time again, it's Invictus Gaming having the numbers advantage in the collapse. When we were talking about this game, we don't get a chance. There's no talking about this game, just kills all the time.
There is never a chance to talk when it's G2 against IG. Pool comes out for Caps there, not making the same mistake as before, barely escapes that last feather. He had to feel the wind from that one as he just barely walks away.
Yeah, it's completely Invictus Gaming all the way now. Big root here from Perks. Are they going to be able to get anything off of it, though?
Top lane Vayne 0, 3, and 0, even after having the help from Jankos there in the early game. 4, 2, and 2 for the Shy's Akali. Wonder in some trouble yet again. Tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme. Akali against an AD carry. Not quite, but the Flash is going to seal his fate.
Teleport.
That's the Shy picking up 1, but the cavalry has arrived. The Shy has no way out of this one. He'll surely fall to the collapse coming out from G2. They want to give the kill over to Caps. They'll do so, and that's his second of the game.
Yeah, he used everything going for that tower dive. We might continue, though, here. Jackie Love and Baolon getting some damage onto the turret as G2 rotate up. They do have the extra inside track, I guess, on trying to get up there. Tom Kench ultimate is available if they want to try and defend topside too.
And that's what it feels like. You want to see G2 kind of focus more about their side lanes, kind of get everything in a row and then look for these fights, try to rip Invictus Gaming around the map through their vision. That's how G2 normally win their games, but they're falling into the IG trap. They're trying to beat themselves to the punch, and they're not taking account of simple math. They don't have enough key members when they try to do it.
And IG is so far ahead in this game right now. Nearly 7,000 gold at 20 minutes is an absolutely massive lead. And let's take another look at how the Shy made this one happen.
Has a ward, so he's able to go right up to the corner, get the first burst damage onto Wonder. Then
follows him onto the tower, uses the flash, and tags him with that final.
Invictus Gaming constantly in the face of G2 Esports, pushing forward into the jungle, looking to cut off that vision, cut off that control over the map. They'll push on the tier 2 in the mid lane here now as well. Jankos will throw down that flag, but there's not a lot else he can do about it as G2 watches their 4th structure crumble.
And I want to point out how Invictus Gaming are hiding out with Rookie, trying to hunt and find where G2 are looking for that flank and denying them any opportunity for engagement.
Rookie continuing to just throw those skill shots forward. It's dangerous to walk into your jungle when you're this far behind, when your opponents have such good vision. It's doubly dangerous against a champion like Zoe that sets up the picks so phenomenally easily. And then even if you try to save someone who's in some trouble, if Baolon's hanging around, all of a sudden everyone gets engaged on, and it goes from bad to worse. The Mountain Drake is up. You can see Ning working on that one right now. If the Fog of War disappears, he's in the pit. He'll secure that one easily for IG by himself. And considering we're past the 20-minute mark and IG's 7,000 gold ahead and a Mountain Drake is now in their pocket, Baron is a very real possibility.
The other big problem here for G2 is that this composition does not play well from behind. Rookie now is on the run. Caps flashes in for him.
Caps going very aggro on this one, but now the punish is potentially coming in from the Shy. Pool going to be popped there from Caps. Balon also going to be showing his face. Goes in for the knockup. Able to find it only onto Mickey X. A good devour onto Caps. Going to be keeping him safe. But IG's now put themselves in a spot where they're going to be pushing into the top side.
Yeah, and G2 don't want to take this fight. If you peek at the items, they are not ready to do so. Yeah, Caps is hitting hard, but he was the beneficiary of some shutdown gold. Wonder is not in a good spot. He's got like the KFC variety bucket of items.
The double down for the Vayne in the top side. Not exactly what you want to see, as Mickey X is only going to be seeing black and white for the next 30 seconds. He's going to be taken down. Ning going to go dominating, taking out Perks there on the backside. Yankos gets a return kill onto Balon, but now Cap's going to be taken very low, nearly taken down. Yankos will be buried in the top lane along next to his friend, as the shutdown onto Ning will not mean much when Invictus Gaming is diving deep into the base, and it is an ace for IG.
It's more than that, it's a slaughter. That was between Towers and Invictus Gaming were styling on G2 at that point.
Just look at those angles from the Shy going for this dive. Invictus Gaming complete that dive emphatically and are able to take the turret afterwards.
This is not even close. Invictus Gaming, 9,000 gold ahead of their opponents right now. 7-3 on the Akali, 6-2 on the Lee Sin. The Zoe still hasn't died yet. These guys are just completely in control.
Yeah, G2 still looking for those plays, though. Still looking for areas that they can go aggressive, because they aren't going to win with this type of composition by sitting back and defending. You can't actually rely upon the farm for late style when you draft it this way. They are, both teams, making League of Legends look extremely fun, though.
And I don't mean to be the Debbie Downer here, but I think G2 are in a spot where they're now depending on IG mistakes to win, because look at how the fights are with IG being this far ahead.
But that's totally fine, because G2 like to try to force you to make mistakes and then capitalize them. Unfortunately, as we look at this replay, it was pretty much the exact opposite. Invictus Gaming said, you want to go toe-to-toe? We can do it. They collapse again and then rip them from the inside out.
Shut down.
Wonder, you can see, tries to get away here, thinking maybe I'll get out. The Spooky Ghost doesn't quite find him, but the Akali's even spookier. That far ahead means there's no escape for this Vayne. 0, 5, and 2. We always like to joke around about Vayne being full build when she hits Blade of the Ruined King and Ginsu's Rage Blade. Well, considering she's died 5 times, considering the build had to be delayed by the Hex Drinker, she's still only at half of that build. As Yankos goes in, but he's going to be killed immediately. Perks are going to find the damage, not quite going to get it onto Jackie Love, who goes into the Featherstorm, getting himself away. Wonder's able to find the kill onto Ning, but now more damage coming out. Wonder going to be taken low, but not taken down. Perks grabbing the kill onto Jackie, as Caps will clean up Balon, and 3 die on IG.
G2 rewarded for continuing to look for those aggressive plays. The Shy's trying to make them pay for it here, but he won't be able to track down anyone, and G2 get out with only losing 1 member.
And they will not sit by and just watch themselves passively lose this game. They will continue to play forward and aggressive, and you're starting to see how this composition works. It's basically a Venn diagram of murder. Jarvan drops on one person, Nico drops on top of them, and then Vayne supposedly should be running around with Vladimir in the middle of that.
We got a big ult circle from Jarvan, we got a big ult circle from Vlad, and if those all overlap with the big ult circle from Nico, we've got success. But if they don't, IG's able to move forward like this. Wonder taken down to 1/3. Invictus Gaming still not scared. Even after losing 3 guys, the last 2 keep pushing.
It's looking more like a Jackson Pollock to me. Maybe some finger painting all over the place, because this has been an insane match. Both teams still looking for it. G2 finally rewarded, for looking for one of those aggressive plays, and they've been able to fight back a little bit of the vision here around the Baron. Doesn't matter though, Invictus Gaming gonna burn that sucker down.
Yeah, talking about finding a little bit of vision around, they will drop the blue trinket there into the pit. They'll see the Baron at about half HP. Throwing another one in there now, it's down to 2K. It will be secured by the side of Invictus Gaming, but now where's the fight gonna go? Balon gonna be caught out here as Mickey X looks to protect Perks somehow. Balon has been killed. If IG tries to continue the fight, they are gonna be 4 versus 5, but the shot goes on a killing spree. Where is he found? No way! Yankos looks Perks to find the kill. He's able to get the shutdown, but he will throw his life away for it. Caps tries to 1 versus 3. He's able to find himself a single kill, but also going to be shut down. Ning will not get the Sonic Wave onto the last standing member, and IG win the fight.
That's more like the Etch-a-Sketch. He's shaking the screen all over the place. The Shy finally goes down as Jankos is able to track him down, but in the end, there is still Baron buff on Ning and Jackie Love, so that means the objectives will go their way.
Yes, because that's what we're playing, objective League of Legends. But like you said, it's the mid lane tower, it's the bot lane tower, and it's still more gold that's going into the pockets of Invictus Gaming.
You guys remember before this game started
yeah.
when I said that Invictus Gaming have the highest kills per minute in both LPL and all teams in MSI? They're averaging almost 1 kill per minute against G2.
I do want to say, though, G2 are a good assist to that stat right now. Like, I don't think this is just IG driving those numbers.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing all of the PvE take place after the PvP has already been sorted out.
The PvE means the enemy team is also the enemy. That's what PvE stands for in this game. I'm not seeing any PvE.
This is a record breaking, like, we're gonna break some records right now. The only 2 teams that could do it is G2 and IG. Put them in the same game and watch what happens.
This is why we had to have the break, because we needed the sheer amount of insanity in this game to have everybody properly prepared for it. Let's take another look at the Baron and the subsequent fight.
All right, so on the top side of your screen, you can see Balon had already initiated on 3 members of G2, and they take him down. So G2 up 1 member when this all starts. But the Shy says, you know what? Let's even that up really quickly. Flashes over this wall, realizes that there's already the Vayne over there. So he jumps back, and then the Condemn was in the air, I believe, adding that extra distance. Yanko still tracks him down on the Jarvan, is able to find that kill, but everyone else not so lucky.
And as we jump back to modern time, we can see Perks nearly dead, has to go back into the spawn platform. Redemption Artillery Missile will not quite find the kill onto him, but that shows you exactly what the state of the game is right now. Ning going forward, looking to maybe find something. Yanko's going to be taking up everybody on the side of IG. Will be taken down about half. Gargoyle Stoneplate going to be wearing off. Wonder looking to find some damage into Balon. Caps into the back line of IG. Jackie Love going to be under threat. Balon taken down. Caps able to find themselves that first kill as the Shy goes on yet another killing spree. He's able to find himself a double kill. Looking to make it even more, as that is going to be the curtain call for G2. Invictus Gaming lose 1. They kill 5. They get 30 kills in 28 minutes. And IG will repeat their world's performance and take down G2.
Woo, finishing this game in under 30 minutes. It was definitely action-packed from beginning to end. G2 even went down substantial gold. Still looking for these fights, actually still coming out on top in a couple of them, but IG just way too good at this style.
And I love the ferocity of both teams here, and I just kind of want to echo this sentiment. If you want to take down Invictus Gaming, the games must look like this. This is the only tape we have when they do stumble
Maybe not exactly
in the
like
LPL. But it's this idea that you have to go tit for tat. You have to go toe to toe. You must fight fire with fire.
Well, that game had fire everywhere from start to finish, from both junglers paying so much attention towards the top side. That volatility exploded as the Shy did what the Shy does. The Akali popping off throughout the game. Unfortunately for Wonder, he never found his footing. And Vayne versus Assassins, when you can't quite find where your feet should be, you're not going to have a good time.
That's always the thing. It's this bouncing point between, oh my God, Vayne top looks OP when you're sitting at 10 CS and the Vayne has this huge lead, right?
Yeah.
But if you're playing against an Assassin and you get that break point of the all-in, being able to go for those kills, we saw over and over the Shy with a ward around the wall or something, going for these, getting the burst damage, finishing up so many of these kills.
And I think that's the nature of a game with Invictus Gaming in it, though. Like, do not despair if it looks like your teams just get smashed by them, because these guys can also look pretty silly with egg on their face if it goes the other way. Because in these tiny micro moments of looking for these outplays, that's where games can be decided when you face someone like Invictus Gaming. So it's going to be a smash one way or the other.
I like that you need to fight fire with fire. Everyone hold out your swords and then
Everybody line
head
up
into battle.
and run into the dark. But we've got the State Farm analyst desk ready to break down IG's win. Take it away, Dash.
Are we ready for that?
Thank you very much, Captain Flowers, and what a win it was. I mean, an absolute slugfest between these two teams, but for it to start so hot in one direction for G2, with 3 kills going over to the jungler that early on, and then for it to all be flipped on its head.
Yeah, I mean, first gank, pretty simple kill
Easy
he picks
peasy.
up. Almost with Ning coming in actually to save the day. And then this one was where I really believed in my prediction.
Fisio, even though we're only going to be watching one of the early replays, how many people from this game joined that naughty list of yours and hyped up?
I mean, based on this play, the Shining are definitely still on it. They did, of course, redeem themselves later, but yeah.
Why are you even trying? What are you looking for?
Oh, that's
I
heartbreaking.
mean, Jankos
right there.
actually played it very well.
Yes.
Obviously, on his side, Wonder had, before that, been forced to flash away from the Shy, who was just sitting in the Shroud, just kind of baiting and waiting for Ning as well. And the funny thing is, before that play happened, where Jankos picked up the 2 kills, we already started to get really scared about the top lane, because every trade was just the Shy, even pre-6, walking forward, getting a couple hits on Wonder, hiding in the Shroud, and then stepping out. And it felt like the Vayne was just going to get pushed further and further back. And we hadn't even hit level 6, which was what we looked at least as kind of the kill moment or potential kill moment for the Akali. Luckily, Jankos did buy a bit of time, I guess, but shortly after, more kills happened.
I mean, a very peculiar draft, I think, from the get-go here out of the side of G2. And kind of as you mentioned, Deficio, there comes a point in the game when the level 6s come through, and all of a sudden, for IG, it's time to turn it on.
And let the good times roll, exactly, was the kind of back half of the game after the first replay. And the draft was an interesting one because, it was the triple flex. We didn't have any insight onto the Vayne top till we got into game. And again, you just think of the matchup, and yes, Vayne will be a ranged auto attacker against a melee Akali, and Akali, the Vayne top is obviously a really big solo queue with high win rate, but level 6 seemed like the break point for this lane to only get better for the Shy, and that proved true in the 1v1. And
Don't group against Rakan.
And then you're spreading your lead on Akali with Gunblade against a Vayne who's still trying to get her items and had to interrupt her build with Hex Drinker. So I'm not really sure on the kind of the justification for the exact lanes, because there were other options open, like the Neeko, as we know, could have gone in any of the 3 lanes.
The more secure one for me was going to be Vladimir topside, but even after the laning phase, what we saw from Rookie rotating to side lanes, like a lot of that from like the pressure that Perks and Mickey X were placing towards the bottom side of the map, immediately being pushed back by Rookie, IG were looking for these fights. And we're always in position to just push back G2 that we're turning more and more desperate by the minute.
And we get to see the mechanical skill of so many of the IG players. You know, the Shy and Akali want to get the few kills. I know Ning had that horrible play on the turret, but otherwise he actually managed to set up a lot of really sick things with Lee Sin. And then the mid lane matchup. We hyped it as potential revenge for Caps. Could this be the time for him to really show that he's improved and he can now match Rookie in the laning phase? He got dumpstered, like again, in the laning phase itself. And it feels like Caps against IG, something switches off. And then after he goes down in lane,
What
he makes some
aspect of
crazy plays.
What aspect of his game disappears? Just the laning phase itself, or does it feel like there are other elements to his game that go out the window where he would normally be able to extend advantages?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of the term I'm thinking of when I'm trying to conceptualize, same sort of idea you're talking about, Deficio, it's kind of a mental blocker, because you think about how people approached laning against Rookie at Worlds last year. It was kind of the sort of thing we saw from UCAL, where you just tried to dodge lane with something like an Urgot or a tank matchup and just say, all right, well, I don't want to take the skill matchup. I'm just going to try and kind of grin and bear it through the lane. And Vlad is more on that side of champion than really many of the other picks we usually see from Caps. I know we were thinking we might see, say, a Zed last pick here and try to take it to the Zoe in the 1v1. And that would have been, you know, fire and fire. But the Vlad, in mid lane especially, you know, very grin and bear it champion, you kind of need everything around you to go well, and then Vlad kind of stays competitive in CS and is Vlad later. And Vlad can just run at Zoe and kill her at a point, but before that point, too many things went out of control.
If this were a domestic opponent, would he have gone Zed?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a fair question, but I think that, like, for me, looking at this, I think that the Vladimir, to be expected, I expected the Neeko going mid, like everyone did at some point. I think going Vlad into this one, it's a very impossible question to ask, but I think that he would have gone towards a more flashier pick if it was a domestic player.
I don't know. I mean, I think in the draft, I think it made sense what he did. I'm not actually questioning the pick whatsoever on my side. It's like Caps is always a player who plays really to the edge, you know, and sometimes he steps over a little bit, but he ends up often getting out of it in a good way because he's mechanically so good. But against IG, and it was a little bit the same at Worlds, after he falls behind, he still tries to push it, but then the mechanics are not always following against someone like IG. Like, he has a tower dive a little bit later against Jakulov where he just dies, you know? These are the kind of things I normally don't see from him. So I'm not blaming the game on Caps or anything. I think the entire team ended up losing this, but it is very interesting just to look at him specifically versus Rookie.
Oh, without a doubt. And I think now we're seeing the example of either way, these unique champion picks that G2 is prone to pick up, they can either be a boon to your performance or they can be of detriment to some degree. As we mentioned, there were other picks available in place of that Vayne in the top lane, in place of the Vladimir, or even the Nico in the bot lane. And so we'll have to see what kind of learnings they take from this game moving forward. But now I want to flip back over to the IG side, because we need to give them their just due here in picking up the win over G2 for what was a disastrous start. And largely, the Shy, who's picking up MasterCard Player of the Game, was a huge component of this victory overall.
To me, it feels like a double team because, like, Rookie did have a fantastic game, but then you just start seeing, like, the Akali run rampant. Like, it was once again a highlight reel bot side when he was able to get the dive. Every single time he looks for, or he's in kill range, he'll just go straight for it. And the red side fight that we saw that was replayed in that game, where he was literally just jumping back and forth, I legitimately thought he would be able to get out of that one scot-free. But of course, Jankos just sees red in his eyes. I love being able to see the Shy play once he's freed out of that lane, because that lane was looking tough. He was getting smacked down, but unfortunately for G2, he was able to start accruing more gold.
Well, in one of the premier battles here on the first day of MSI Group Stage, IG comes out on top. When we return, though, Team Liquid and Fengvu Buffalo rematch to conclude Day 1. Don't you miss it.
Blocking that Shuriken, making so they can't do anything else. Ning gonna be tanking the turret aggro here for now. The Shy's gonna be eating the turret shot. Jankos might be able to make it too! Counter initiation comes in. Balon looking to lock down 3 different people. Wonder gonna be taken very low. Balon nearly falls, but Wonder's gonna be taken out next. Mickey X cut to pieces.
The Shy going in on a Wonder.
Oh, this is not where this Vayne wants to find herself. The damage comes through. Cap's gonna be taken very low, nearly taken down. Jankos will be buried in the top lane along next to his friend. IG tries to continue the fight. They are gonna be 4 versus 5, but the Shy goes on a killing spree. No way! The Shy goes on yet another killing spree. He's able to find himself a double kill. Looking to make it even more, as that is going to be the curtain call for G2.